On behalf of the Palmyra-Massillon Board of Education, the faculty and support staff, and administration, I welcome each of you to our commencement exercises for the class of 1994. It is indeed a pleasure to be here today. In fact, the Board of Education members and I frankly look upon today as the whole reason for why we do what we do. Some of the days aren't as pleasant as this one. Today, it's a very pleasant day. It's the reason we exist, to see these students culminate 13 years of schooling, mostly 13, and receive their diplomas. My comments today will be about recognizing the contributions of others to our lives. And I would ask the seniors or the graduates to please pay particular attention. First, I'd like to personally recognize the efforts of all the teachers and support personnel in the school district in all the grades, kindergarten through 12. And I ask all the graduates to remember, as they reflect during this next couple of minutes, on their favorite teacher or a person who helped them most in the school district. And perhaps sometime in the next day or two, take a few minutes to send that person a note of thanks. I'd like to recognize in particular right this minute 3 members of our staff who will be retiring this year. 2 were unable to be here. Mrs. Marcia Couch, a 2nd grade teacher at Palmyra Elementary. Mrs. Kathy Smith, whom the seniors honored earlier this year by asking her to serve as their speaker at the awards night. And I'd like to ask Dave Tabor, who I know is here, if he would please stand and be recognized as a teacher who's retiring after 34 years of service as a social studies teacher in the middle school. Dave? Last year, my comments at commencement were directed primarily to the parents of the graduates. My focus this year will be a little different, but by no means does that take away from all the contributions that parents have made to the success of the young people we have on the stage here today. Remember, students, it's your parents who helped provide you with thousands of hours, believe it or not, of guidance and encouragement. They worried, they perspired, they cared, they helped, they disciplined, they provided you with love and support, and all the other things that parents do to help get you to this stage today. So I ask the graduates to please remember to say a particularly meaningful thanks to their parents at some time today in a quiet moment if they have not already done so. And I certainly don't mean to exclude others, including friends and neighbors and aunts and uncles who have done so much to contribute to the success of these young people today as well. But my primary comments and compliments tonight, or this afternoon, are going to be directed to the grandparents. As grandparents, do you remember the first time you saw your grandchild? I'll bet most of these students on the stage don't remember the help you most likely provided to their parents those first few days home from the hospital, 2 o'clock feedings, maybe 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 4 o'clock feedings. How do I change this diaper? Of course, some of us go back a long time and remember the pins. Now it's mostly peel and stick, but it was pins. I'll bet the moms remember that help, though, because most often it's the grandmothers and grandfathers who come up and spend a few days, especially when that first grandchild was born, and those of us who are new parents didn't know what in the world to expect. Didn't take that course. Of course, Grandma knew all along there was no problem with the course, but we didn't. I asked the students to remember all the meals they had at the Grandma and Grandpa's house. Holiday, Thanksgiving, Easter, Christmas. The smells in the kitchen as the food was being cooked and prepared. You may even remember a time when you were in trouble with your parents, and it was a grandmother or grandfather who had a very kind word for you and made you feel a little better. Or maybe they gave you some extra spending money because you forgot it was Mother's Day, or you forgot it was your mother's birthday, and you didn't get a card or a present, and it was a grandparent that provided you with a little extra spending money. Or maybe it was that special date you were going out on, and you needed some extra money. This one may even happen today, but surely you remember when your grandparents would come over to you and pinch you on the cheek and say something like, "I can't believe how big you've grown." Grandparents, I hope you do that to some of them today, because they're never too big for that. And And students, you need to please remember that your grandparents are among the proudest people in this pavilion today. They are most proud of you and your accomplishments. Because grandparents are all these things. They are a most important part of your life, and they contributed for the last 17, 18, or 19 years to your success. All the people, grandparents, teachers, support staff, friends, parents, aunts, uncles, all of these are important. But I think grandparents in many ways are a bit special. Could I ask right now if all the grandparents who are in the audience would at least raise their hand or stand for just a moment, please? Could I have the grandparents raise their hand and stand? Let's see. We have a few. Join me in a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to end my comments today with a very brief verse that came from Shel Silverstein called The Little Boy and the Old Man. This is from his book, A Light in the Attic. Said the little boy, "Sometimes I drop my spoon." Said the little old man, "I do that too." The little boy whispered, "I wet my pants." "I do that too," laughed the little old man. Said the little boy, "I often cry." The old man nodded, "So do I." "But worst of all," said the little boy, "it seems grown-ups don't pay any attention to me." And he felt the warmth of a wrinkled old hand. "I know what you mean," said the little old man. Students, please don't ever let your grandparents or anyone else ever feel that way. No one who is as important in your life as your grandparents or the people who helped you get here today deserves to have those feelings. And always remember, your achievements are being noted and celebrated here today. But also remember, please, there have been and will continue to be many others who have contributed and who will contribute to your success. Thank you.
The product of an education is not always obvious. All of us gathered here today represent a tradition of education being repeated across the country in every city and town. Yet this class is unique. As we, the CMAC class of 1994, sit here today, anxious to receive our diplomas, let us reflect upon what has made the most significant impact in our lives. Was it the intellectual knowledge that was fed to us, or the personal, spiritual, and emotional growth that we have achieved? Today we should all be proud of ourselves. We should be proud if we passed politics and joyous if we aced physics. But is academics the only obstacle that we have overcome in our 12 years together? Our teachers and parents, our friends and relatives, will recognize our achievements today by marveling at our scholastic standings. But who will congratulate us for what might be the most important accomplishment of all, our personal growth? Think about how naive and shallow we would be if all we had experienced 10 periods a day was intellectual learning. Would we be ready to present ourselves to the real world? Would we truly be graduates? As we entered our kindergarten classes on the first day of school, little did we know that we had already learned a very important lesson. It had nothing to do with math or science or reading comprehension. It was a lesson about life. We learned that day to say goodbye to our moms and dads, most of us for the first time in our lives. We gained some independence as we entered this new environment. We met people of all sizes and colors, some of whom in time would become our closest friends. It was a new beginning. When we went home at the end of that evening, we were all a little different in some small way. We had learned something that no school book or professor in the world could have taught us, and we carried that with us throughout our lives. While the math became more difficult and history classes more advanced, relationships also grew more complex. In 1st through 5th grade, we found some of our truest friends. We discovered how far honesty and cooperation got us. Some of us even started to recognize our talents, such as sports and music. They were important times for learning about each other and ourselves. In 6th grade, we were merged together. This was an opportunity to meet new people and the beginning of a strong bond. Many of us began to take interest in members of the opposite sex. We attended dances, had first dates, and spent more and more time together. Events such as the 8th grade campout became important parts of our childhood memories. Those of us on sports teams learned about self-discipline and teamwork. It was a period of self-discovery. Finally came high school. We were young adults by now, yet we were unprepared for what we had to face. As 9th graders, we were forced to survive a very terrible tragedy that involved the loss of 2 of our classmates. We had questions that all the books and professors in the world could not answer. We overcame this very terrible time because we had each other. We found a strength in ourselves, a strength we learned on our own, and one we will take with us when we leave this stage today and go on to face more personal difficulties. In our final 4 years together, we made decisions that will affect the rest of our lives. We learned to work things out when problems occurred in our relationships. We encouraged enthusiasm and spirit for our class and our school. We fought for what we believed in when we encountered injustices. We dealt with loss. We witnessed some of our own classmates becoming moms and dads. These were the valuable lessons that were taught to us within the 4 halls of our school. Yes, we also learned about the Pythagorean theorem and the French Revolution, and these things are important. We should be proud for ourselves for working hard academically, but we need to understand that maybe this was not the most difficult part of getting to where we are right now. We are graduates of so much more. Some of us will leave here today and never attend a school again. Maybe some of us will not use much of what was taught to us with chalkboards and textbooks. But who here can say that they have not learned the most valuable lessons of life in the halls of our school? You must think about where we have started and how far we have come. We have all grown in so many ways, and this growth is what will help us to survive in the world we are about to enter. We have each other to thank for that. We all have a lot to be proud of, no matter what our grade point averages may be. Learning consists of so much more than books, classes, and homework, and this graduation is about so much more than a diploma. On behalf of the graduating class of 1994, I'd like to be the first to welcome you to our commencement. With the love of our families and friends, we've overcome many obstacles, both intellectual and personal. Finally, we'd like to offer our congratulations to our parents. We are very proud of you, and we love you for always being there. This is a graduation for you too. Thank you.
As the executive principal of the high school, one of the pleasures I have is recognizing students who've worked very hard academically for the years that they were at our school. Today we'd like to recognize 2 of those students. We'd like Scott Smith to come forward. He is our valedictorian. The other student is Mike Goodspeed. He is our salutatorian. Congratulations.
At previous award nights, other fellow graduates of ours were also honored with scholarships and awards. We'd like those to stand for recognition, please.
As the year drew near to these commencement ceremonies, many of us began to grow uneasy about the future. Throughout our high school careers, we chose courses and involved ourselves in extracurricular activities, hoping those choices would spark an interest in a career. We visited colleges and talked with people in our field of interest, again, to gain insight as to what we were meant to do. More often than not, people's revelations only made our choices more confusing. Everybody had an opinion, and the more people we talked to, the more options it seemed we had. Who do we listen to? Do we stick our heads in the sand like the proverbial ostrich, or do we listen and hope something concrete comes out of the confusion? Everybody in this class has different priorities. Some of us concern ourselves with financial security. Some people want to remain close to family, and some want to really love their work. However, most of us, throughout our career search, want a combination: financial security doing something we love. How are we to know that a career will provide us enjoyment just because it contains elements of things we enjoy? And how do we know that a job that pays well today will even exist tomorrow? Teachers, parents, counselors, friends, and relatives want us to do the best we can with ourselves, and their advice and knowledge can be very helpful when we make our career decisions. In the end, though, it is our own decisions that determine whether we succeed or fail, and the meaning of success is something that nobody else can help us with. In our own hearts, we know what success is to us because we each have our own personal set of priorities which have evolved through life's experiences and will continue to develop and struggle to maintain. The time has come for us to stop being chameleons, changing color to suit our environments. College and the workplace will enable us to find our niche in society and leave our marks on it. Tomorrow we will take all the experiences and advice that we have gained at Palmyra Macedon and start down a new path. I hope all of the members of the class of 1994 will keep an open mind to the suggestions and advice given by others while keeping in mind their own priorities and intentions. We must not forget our personal image of success as we search for the perfect career. The time has come for us to dive in head first, and perhaps through trial and error, we will achieve our goals. Palmyra Macedon has prepared us to do the work that lies ahead, but as for what work that may be, we can only expect the unexpected and plan to make learning about the world and ourselves a lifelong quest. Thank you.
On behalf of the Board of Education, I accept these gifts from the class of 1994. The gifts are noteworthy as they represent a gift for the present and for the future. Once again, my thanks to the class of 1994. Good afternoon. On behalf of the Board of Education, it is my pleasure to welcome you to celebrate the graduation of the class of 1994. My comments today are excerpts from a 1986 article entitled "Lighten Up, Kids, It's as Tough as It Gets," written by Charles Osgood, a well-known editor and news anchorman. Mr. Osgood wrote, "It's been a long time since I graduated from high school, but I believe that I can remember the age and all the mixed feelings associated with it pretty well. When we were 10 and in elementary school, we were all pretty worried because everyone told us that the middle school was going to be quite a bit more difficult than elementary had ever been. From the 7th grade on, we were all warned that life would become tougher as time went on. But we survived the middle school and realized it wasn't so tough after all. But we knew full well that high school would be quite a different matter. But high school wasn't nearly as bad as we feared either. However, there's no question that college will be more difficult yet. College will separate the men from the boys and the women from the girls. Plus, ahead lay other prospects. The military, which will straighten out anyone in a hurry. Graduate school, which could be murderously difficult. And something called the real world, which as parents we have referred to almost weekly. The real world is the point in your life that you decide that you are ready to face the job market and get a real job and do real work. It's at that point that you will hear us parents say that being single is easy. Everyone will probably tell you that life gets tougher after you get married. It's then that you're told that having kids and families responsibilities will wear you down. So where does this all add up? To the simple fact that this is life and you're about to take the first of many major steps that your parents, teachers, clergy, families, and friends have prepared you for through many years of love, dedication, and support. No matter what your next step is, remember that this is one of the many steps you will take in your lifetime. Because you are the next generation, you are our future. And we believe that you have the basics to make the right decisions no matter what you decide to do with your life after graduation today. Abraham Lincoln once wrote that a child is a person who's going to carry on what you have started. He is going to sit where you are sitting, and when you are gone, attend to those things which you think are important. You may adopt all the policies you please, but how they are carried out ultimately depends on him. He will assume control of our cities, states, and nation, and he is going to move to take over our churches, schools, universities, and businesses. All your books are going to be judged and praised or condemned by him, as the fate of humanity is in his hands. Therefore, based on Lincoln's statement, my message today is that your graduation from high school represents the first of many steps in the quest of adulthood and its natural evolution. You are the next generation, you are the future, and you can and will make these decisions as your parents have made in the past and their parents before them. Now, on a personal note, as a parent of a graduate, I would like to take a brief moment to tell you that the class of 1994 will always be special in the hearts of many of the people here today. As a Palmyra Elementary student, you were the first class to participate in the 4th grade science fair. I will always remember how proud you were of the ribbons that day. You appeared so timid and shy when you spoke to the first judge and became an authority before the second. You were the last class to go on the 8th grade campout. Those 3 days were special for any parent that chaperoned. I will never forget the 18 boys in my dorm. You kept me up half the night laughing, and Dan Unger made me appreciate the meaning of a high five. On to your high school years, where we have numerous memories of your athletic events, activities, band concerts, choral programs, and your performances in the high school plays. You left us hoarse at the sporting events and in awe at the choral and band concerts. And some of us will never forget working with you on the homecoming floats during Spirit Week. You were always first in our eyes. You have always represented Palmac well, and as parents, we are proud of you. We wish you the best of luck in the future and want you to know that you hold a special spot in the hearts of each and every one of us and the families and friends sitting here today, as we all have fond memories of the graduating class of 1994, and I assure you, those memories will remain near and dear to our hearts forever. Thank you.
Kimberly A. Parks. Scott M. Farber, Jr. Tara Lynn Leone. Kevin William Smith. Jessica Susan Brown. Sean Robert Hanna. Mai Trey Nguyen. Dwayne Scott Smith. Stephanie Marie Brongo. Jason E. Quigley. Jennifer May Blaisdell. Brian Daniel Pagliatti. Colleen Ann Norton. Jared F. Brown. Stephanie J. Becker. Jed J. Murray. Tammy J. Haberland. Jason B. Like. Sherry Ann Brutzman. Danny J. Unger. Karen E. Herendine. David Camilo Clemen. Stacy Beth Salpa. Ian Henry Guest. Carrie A. Martin. Christopher William Bush. Sarah Ann Garvey. Jeffrey Thomas Weaver. Erica Lee Bastian. Thomas R. Ryder. Lynn Parker Kane. Adam S. Marr. Christine A. Packard. Timothy P. Gleason, Jr. Alicia Marie Kuhn. Suzanne Marie Devlin. Rachel Joy Williams. Tracy I. Volkman. Jan Marie Woods. Erin Lindsay Wilson. Gretchen Lee Hahn. Gregory S. Kennard. Renee Yvette Valley. Jessica M. Simons. Lindsay Ann Privatera. Julie Lynn Herbst. Jill K. Rising.
Albert P. Ziegler. Lee Ann Aimley. Stephen F. Leichner. Kimberly Ann Rearson. Patrick C. Carey. Angela Catherine Bashir. Christopher James Tome. Jamie D. McPike. Matthew D. Moran. Kimberly Ann Fox. Derek M. Holland. Amy L. Hunt. Chad E. Lord. Tara C. Grauman. Harold Dana Puckett. Jennifer Lynn Reinwald. David L. Dodd III. The second. Carolyn M. Fisher.
Would you join me? It's a great pleasure as superintendent of schools that I can say, by the power vested in me by the state of New York and the Board of Education of Palmyra-Massillon Central School District, I'm very pleased to confer the diplomas on each of these graduates effective immediately. Kim?
Class of 1994, we have graduated.